What's up, guys? It's Rich here, coming back at you, but today we're doing something a little bit different. So this is my G9. This is what I do most of my photography on, besides the Pentax. I got this camera 2 years ago. Before that, I was using the FZ1000, which I'm shooting on now. And even before that, I used my Nikon Coolpix. Ooh. So today I'm actually going to go over what lenses I think you should buy if you pick up a Lumix system. Just because a lot of people are talking about the GH6, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are budget conscious. You just bought a camera that's $2,000, or you want to spend the extra money to get the nicer Lyrica lens, or you don't want to. So I'm all about budget friendliness on this channel, so I want to go ahead and kind of go over what lenses I think you should pick up if you cannot necessarily afford a ton of different lenses. So let's talk about the cheapest option you can do when it comes to this system. The absolute cheapest option is the one I have right here. This, $13. Usually you can get an adapter for $13 to, I don't know, let's say $30, $13 to $30. So right now I have a Sigma mini wide f2.8 28mm lens. This is actually a more expensive Sigma lens, but this is for the Pentax system. I have the $13 adapter, and now all of a sudden I have a 13mm, which on the Lumix Micro Four Thirds sensor, you're looking at a 56mm. But this is premium glass for next to nothing. This whole system setup right here, at least for me, because I repaired this lens, I spent $5 on the lens, $13 on the adapter. So for 20 bucks, you can't go wrong. So if you already have a system, or if you have a bunch of older lenses, get an adapter. It works fantastic. I've used the adapter before. I've used it on my G9 and it comes out great. Only downside is you're gonna have to do manual focus and make sure it has aperture controls. If not, you're gonna have to go into the more expensive adapters that actually allow you to control the aperture and stuff like that manually, and you lose some of the image stabilization that some of these lenses come with. So the next most budget friendly option would be the 12 to 60. 12 to 60 is relatively available. You're able to do a bunch of varied things that you can. This one is the 3.5 to 5.6 f-stop 12 to 60. I've had zero issues with this lens. I've used this lens extensively, and I was able to do a lot of videos. I was able to do stills. This was a fantastic lens to use. You just have to make sure your subjects are well lit. Whatever environment you're in, you have to make sure it's extremely well lit, or else this lens is going to let you down and you're going to have to crank up your ISO, or you're going to have to be very good at holding your camera still because your shutter speed has to be so slow. So for me, I found it lacking in certain situations, but I would say 80% of the time, this camera lens did perfectly fine. The glass is fantastic. I have no issues with that. And so you can pick this up probably $100 to $160, just this lens, and it is fantastic. The next thing you can do, a little less versatility, but still really inexpensive, is the 14mm. So I would do it in combination with the 12 to 60. I would get the 14 pancake, because you will be able to shoot in low light with this one. This is the 14mm, and this is a f-stop of 2.5. So this is a 28mm equivalent. So this is what I used to substitute sometimes when the lighting was just way too dark. So all in all, it's probably $200 to $230 to get those two lenses, which is really nice. If you're lucky, you might be able to find them for a little bit cheaper. This lens is, I think I find it a lot cheaper, anywhere from $50 to $150. So, and they're readily abundant. All the used versions, at least I've seen, are fantastic. There's no issues with them. It's easy to focus manually, but it does have an extremely awesome autofocus. So this one is fantastic for low light situations because it lets in so much light. The next one that I would recommend, which I've used this one, if you're just shooting stills, this is fantastic. I've used it for recording as well, and usually when I have the space to move back, then you can get this one. And this is the 50mm or the 25mm. This is the Nifty 50 for the Lumix system. This one is, I think, an f2.5. Oh no, 1.7. So this is the f1.7. And so I had this on my lens for almost a full year. I just used this lens specifically because I was able to shoot everything with it. And the glass is 100% comparable to the Leica. The Leica, of course, is a Leica lens, so the glass is a little bit better, but only slightly. It would be very hard to tell the difference between these two. In some situations, I like this lens a little bit better, just because of how fast it is. And so I would highly recommend that. That one you can find easily for 70 to 150 bucks. So all these lenses right here, this whole system right here, is about half the price of what you would pay for this bad boy. Now I get it, if you get it in the kit, you might pay $350 additional dollars for this if you get it in some of the kits that it comes with. But this is the Leica DG Vario 12 to 60. This is a fantastic lens. I will not say it's not a fantastic lens. It's a 2.8 to 4.0. I have a polarizing filter on it that's actually really, really dark, and I'm still able to get a lot of light from it. I use this lens primarily right now because it's very versatile. I don't have to switch out the lenses, and usually I'm shooting with this and my Pentax at the same time, so having this on my camera, I can just use it for a lot of the stills that I shoot. And then video wise, this is what I film most of my videos on right now, so it does replace all these other lenses. It does increase your workflow, but for $700 to do that, I wouldn't recommend it if you're just starting out. I don't think you necessarily need something like this. I don't think it is applicable in every situation, but it is very much a versatile lens. It is definitely a 10. The glass is fantastic. The autofocus is great. There's not much that I can say that's bad about this lens other than the price. And the fact that you are paying $700 and at the longest focal range, which is 60 millimeters or 120 equivalent, you're stopping it down to f-stop 4 for a micro four thirds or an f-stop 8, which would be the full frame equivalent. It makes it kind of lackluster. It kind of sucks that it stops down like that, where it's like if you're going to spend that much, you might as well spend a little bit more. Or if I wish they had something that just had a constant aperture, especially from Leica. I just wish it had a constant aperture, especially spending $700. But that's not too bad. It does let in a lot of light, so that's the great thing about it. I will say that this does let in 100 times, like not 100, it lets in a lot more light than the 12 to 60 at the same f-stops. So that's very nice, but then it does get a little bit softer in some of those cases. But it definitely lets in a lot more light. So if you love shooting natural light, that might be the way to go if you don't pick up the 50 mil or the 14. So all in all, those are probably what you can get. I got mine for 60 bucks because it had been dropped and the lens bay in it was damaged. I do have a video on how you can repair that. And like I said, if you wanted to pick up, you have two choices as to what you want to do. $300 for something like this, where you can pick up 4 lenses, or you can spend the $300 to $700 to pick up one of these. I would highly recommend you go with the other one because it's a little bit more fun to be able to switch out the lenses, try everything. But if your workflow demands it, then investing in the DG Vario might be an option for you instead of investing in a bunch of different lights. So that's my opinion as to what you should get. I have tons of footage and tons of photos of examples of each one of these lenses in action, so if that's something you guys want, just let me know. But I wanted to make this a quick, easy, concise video so that way you guys kind of know what lenses I use, what I feel like is the best lenses to use on the Lumix system, the Micro Four Thirds system. Hopefully this helps you decide as to what you want to get. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I am giving away a lens. I might actually do a lens set when I reach 1,000 subscribers. My Sigma lenses are getting more and more varied. I have a ton of those, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away a lens, and I'm also going to give you an adapter for whatever system you use. So if you're using Pentax, that's fine. You can just get the lenses thrown on your camera. If you're using a Nikon, Canon, Sony, Lumix, I will give away the lens, and I will also provide you an adapter. So let's get those subscriber count up so that way I can start giving away some of this stuff, guys. Thanks for watching. Again, thank God for allowing us to take these amazing photos and do what we love. Have a good one.